Welcome to this explainer. Okay, what if I told you that becoming wealthy actually has almost nothing to do with your salary? I know, it sounds totally counterintuitive, right? I mean, we've basically all been taught that climbing the corporate ladder and snagging that massive paycheck is the ultimate finish line for financial success. But today, we're going to completely dismantle that myth. We're diving into the 7 wealth-building rules that rich Americans actually use. The exact rules that schools completely forget to teach us. So definitely stick around and pay close attention, because the life-changing rule number 7 waiting for you at the end of this explainer, it's literally the ultimate difference between staying stuck in the broke cycle forever and actually achieving financial freedom.
So let's just dive right into it. You might be wondering, what if salary doesn't equal wealth? Well, it's a pretty startling reality, but there are literally millions of Americans right now earning over 100 grand a year, and they're still sweating bullets when their car engine makes a weird noise, all because they're living paycheck to paycheck. Just let that sink in for a second. 6 figures, yet they are one missed paycheck away from a total crisis. But at the exact same time, there are folks making half that amount who are quietly in the background building million-dollar portfolios. So what's the secret here? How does that math even work out? Honestly, it all comes down to playing by a completely different set of rules.
Which brings us to section 1, rethinking how you earn. And to do this, we really have to start with a fundamental mindset shift. All right, so here is rule number 1. You've got to stop trading your time for money. See, most people in the middle class are totally trapped in this very specific equation. They firmly believe that working more hours automatically equals making more money. But hey, there are only 24 hours in a day, right? Which means your earning potential has a hard, unbreakable ceiling. The wealthy, they approach this completely differently. Instead of just trading their hours for dollars, they build assets that earn money while they sleep. We're talking about acquiring things like stocks, real estate, investing in businesses, or even creating digital products that just keep selling around the clock. The core philosophy here is actually super simple. Money should work for you, not the other way around. You really shouldn't have to spend your entire life just working for money. And honestly, it's an incredibly empowering statement when you really internalize it. Changing your fundamental relationship with money, shifting from being its servant to becoming its manager, that literally changes your financial trajectory forever. But to buy those assets in the first place, you need capital. And that brings us to an accelerating concept, which is rule number 6, learn high-income skills. Your income usually follows your skills, plain and simple. If you want to increase your baseline earning power so you can buy more of those assets we just talked about, you've got to have skills the market actually values. Today, the highest paid skills are things like sales, AI, software development, marketing, investing, and content creation. Mastering just one of these highly valued skills will boost your earning potential way, way more than just sitting at a desk for 5 years, crossing your fingers, and hoping your boss hands you a tiny, incremental raise. You have to take control of your own value. Moving right along to section 2, protecting your money. Let's shift gears and get into the defensive phase. And this perfectly sets up rule number 2, pay yourself first. For the vast majority of average earners, the standard flow looks like this. Salary comes in, then you pay bills, then you go shopping, and then maybe, just maybe, you save whatever pennies happen to be left over at the end of the month. But spoiler alert, there's rarely anything left over. Rich people completely flip this flow upside down. The absolute second the money hits their account, the very first thing they do is route a percentage straight to investing. After that, they pay their bills, and then finally they fund their lifestyle. Honestly, even just automatically investing 10% of every single paycheck right off the top can completely change your future. Because here is the absolutely crucial point. Consistency beats perfection. You really don't need a perfectly optimized stock portfolio or some insanely complex real estate strategy just to get started. Simply getting into the automated habit of investing that 10% before you even see it is what truly transforms your financial future. It's kind of like going to the gym, right? Showing up for 20 minutes consistently is far, far better than doing one perfect, grueling 3-hour workout once a year. It's all about building that muscle memory of wealth, making saving as automatic as breathing. But of course, there's a major hurdle that trips up almost everyone, and that brings us to rule number 3, avoid lifestyle inflation, which is also known as the dreaded raise trap. Picture this. You finally get that big promotion, or maybe you land a huge client using one of those new high-income skills. You're making more money. But then what happens? Suddenly, you convince yourself that your perfectly fine 5-year-old car is an absolute death trap, and you absolutely need a luxury vacation just to celebrate. So you're earning significantly more money, but ironically, you're still completely broke. Real wealth requires increasing your investments, definitely not padding out your expenses.
Now let's look at Section 3, Building Your Wealth Engine. Welcome to the growth phase, everyone.
Rule number 4 is so simple but wildly effective. Invest early. I want you to imagine taking exactly $500 every single month. Now, not just for 1 year, not just for 5 years, but doing this consistently for 30 years. Because of the absolute mathematical miracle that is compound growth, that monthly contribution can potentially snowball into hundreds of thousands of dollars, obviously depending on your investment returns. Basically, your money starts making money, and then that new money turns around and makes even more money. It's incredible.
The secret ingredient to all of this? Time is always more powerful than timing. So many people just sit on the sidelines waiting for the quote-unquote perfect moment to invest. They wait for a massive market crash, or they wait to save up some huge lump sum of cash. But actually starting early, even with a really small amount, always beats trying to pick the absolute perfect investment at the absolute perfect time. Truly, the calendar is your greatest financial ally. And that builds our next layer of security, which is rule number 5, multiple income streams. Listen, the average millionaire absolutely does not rely on just one single paycheck. No way. They build sturdy safety nets through multiple avenues, things like dividend investing, rental properties, freelancing, or selling digital products. The core philosophy here is just smart risk management. If one of these income streams suddenly dries up or a recession hits, it's not a catastrophic financial crisis. Why? Because all those other streams just keep churning away in the background. All right, we've made it to Section 4, the ultimate investor mindset. This right here is exactly how you escape the broke cycle forever. And here it is, the one we've been waiting for. Rule number 7, think like an investor. I really want you to notice the stark difference in the internal dialogue here. A poor mindset looks at a bank account balance and immediately asks, okay, what can I buy? It's just an endless desire to consume vanishing items, clothes, gadgets, depreciating assets. But a rich mindset, it looks at that exact same bank balance and asks, what can I own? It's an intense, focused desire to acquire future income-generating assets. It's a massive, fundamental shift from being a consumer to becoming an owner. So, the absolutely crucial takeaway here is recognizing the sheer power you have in your pocket right now. Every single dollar that comes into your life has two possible destinies. It can either disappear into a random purchase that you'll completely forget about in a month, or it can buy an asset that's going to work for you forever. Building wealth isn't about luck. It's definitely not about winning the lottery, and it certainly isn't about having rich parents. It's entirely about making smart, consistent, disciplined decisions over an extended period of time. You can absolutely start today. You can start incredibly small, but you just have to stay consistent. Your future self is heavily depending on the choices you are making right now. So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with one final, incredibly important question to chew on. When that next paycheck hits your account, what will your next